Mr. Zaheer, when you look at yourself today, it's a very impressive journey. But every successful story has its beginning. Please bring us back at the very beginning of your journey.
First of all, welcome to AIMS and thank you for joining us on this podcast. And usually, when the journey starts, you don't know what is your direction. But from beginning of my career, my passion was oil and gas. During engineering also, I selected my subjects to be instrumentation and making sure that I involve in some type of measurements. Measurement is my passion. So measurementation is the key subject we started to learn in engineering, and there were biomedical instrumentation and measurementation, and I was already having passion about measurementation. So when I went first journey initially to Qatar and we started to work, I was looking only the job which will lead to oil and gas processing and refining and all. And luckily, I got that break after rejecting 4 or 5 general jobs. And we started to choose the jobs opportunities, in the career based on your passion. So the first start was to be a service engineer. And I started to troubleshoot and started to work on analyzers with the bigger brands in the world. I got a great opportunity. My first job was in Qatar Gas to measure the Qatar gas emissions on the sulfur recovery. That was a breakthrough project. And that led to me to make me as a service engineer, which the passion was already there for oil and gas. And since we are coming from India, access to the oil and gas in India is a long journey. When you are a young chat, you want to get a job opportunity, in oil and gas they will ask you, where is your 10 years experience, your 15 years experience? So that was a kickstart for me to go on the oil and gas in Qatar. Then I slowly moved to the service field, and I started to start my career as a service engineer.
Wow, that's a very beautiful journey. You might be a huge inspiration for many people, starting from the bottom and bringing this beautiful career up and building up this empire where 1,400 people are working for you. Compliments, you did an amazing job. Looking back at your childhood, what played the biggest role in your childhood? What shaped your character? Who are you now?
Yeah, basically, every child is the image of their parents, right? And especially my mother. She was a legend. She made me what I am today. And my father. And my mother used to go for work. She started her career very early in her life. She was like a first woman in our community which is leaving for going to the office and working. And she started to work at a very young age, even before she was married. And then she got married to my father, and he was also a civil servant. He was working in the electricity department in the civil services. We saw our parents going to the work from morning 8 a.m. and coming back in the evening, working hard to made us. So we were always thinking that, the passion they have, it was not just about survival, families in India, it takes time to grow up, but it was also a motivation for us. My mother going to the office, my father going away from us for a week and coming back on the weekends. Those type of lessons put in your mind, especially the age of between 8 to 15, that's your golden years, right? And your parents, as a key thing. So the beginning in my childhood was already created in the mind that you don't have a resting life. And they used to live life for others. My mother used to have a source for other people also. And my father was a legend in terms of giving resources to the others. So that was the childhood, foundation from the parents. And all credit goes to them and their parents. And that's how, the journey is continuing.
Sharing is caring. They
Sharing
taught
is
you.
caring,
Yes,
yeah.
and also
It's
sharing
caring.
with community is caring because you're a
Yes.
great leader which takes care of every employee, what I've just seen here around. It's amazing.
So taking care of the friends, neighbors, relatives is from the childhood. It's not like just you
So
started.
basic settings,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And also the motivation and wish to achieve goals and be successful also was built up in you by your parents.
Yes.
Lovely. Eventually you moved to Qatar. What led you to move? What actually made you this decision?
Yeah, as I mentioned you earlier, opportunities when you are a young engineer, especially in instrumentation in India, and if you want to go to an oil and gas, there is no chance. They will not allow a young man after engineering to do it. So I selected Qatar because that time Qatar was growing up in the LNG market and was already having a huge, gas program which is going on. So some of the friends say, okay, you are an engineer, we will give you a visit visa for 3 months. Come in and search for a job. That was the thing which we did. And the passion for oil and gas led us to go to Qatar and not to stay in India and look for some other type of opportunities.
During this career build up, at which point did you have this kick that it was specific moment what made you to feel that's the major point of your career?
Yeah, I still remember. I think every November it gives me a memory. I think it was 17th November, and November is always a challenging month for me. And we were talking about the stars and zodiac and all. It never worked for me. So when I got a call in November from my company, which in Abu Dhabi, to move from Qatar, they saw my work in Qatar, and they say we want to hire you. So I moved in November to Abu Dhabi in almost, I think, 1999 end or 2000, something like that. And that was the trigger moment for me to go. Now we were coming from a Qatar, which was a great country for in terms of gas, but now we were moving to Abu Dhabi, which is the giant. And they were already in a, that time Qatar was developing and Abu Dhabi was one phase ahead in terms of construction industries, Dubai picking up and things like that. So I was having a feeling that Dubai and Abu Dhabi, till today we have a confusion. Who is the, key? So Abu Dhabi, and one of the motivation was my sister was also in UAE. So it's okay, family will get together. But the final motive was oil and gas of Abu Dhabi, right? So moved in and go to the field of oil and gas in Abu Dhabi and brought my team, which was working already with me in Qatar, to make a foundation. That was the kickstart where basically my career took a change in terms of accessing to the world's largest gas processing units. Habshan 5, Habshan 0 to 4, Habshan 5, Gasco Ruwais, Shah Field. This is the world's largest gas plants exist till now and producing more than the 2 billion scf of gas, and key component is sulfur. So the sulfur is in my blood and there. So that's very sour fields to work on. So that's, I think, the exposure to Abu Dhabi and gas fields of Abu Dhabi, especially Habshan, was a breakthrough point.
It's very impressive that you made such a journey and then you created AIMS. But my next question is, what were the biggest challenge transforming AIMS from the early stage business into the large organization it is today?
Yeah, you see, the journey is a long journey, but initial challenges were multiple challenges. First of all, you need AIMS to be recognized by the bigger oil companies, right? And you have no reference before. You are not like a big giant oil and gas already and entering into the oil and gas.
You made a magic.
You have one people who trust you that you can do some work. You started with services and then you have no financial background. You don't have any corporate putting a financial $1 million on the table and trying to support you financially. The first challenges to form AIMS was there is a fear factor, right? That what is my future going in? So to come up with that challenge, taking that risk of going alone and forming AIMS and trusting in yourself and making that, decision. And for sure, my wife, Sarah, was with me at that time. And she is the biggest motivation I have at that time. She was with me. And we decided to form this AIMS. First thing is, where are we going? That feeling you have, right? So, but we overcome that because service support doesn't require cash. Service support doesn't require to invest a little. So we started small and then we formed AIMS as the key service company. That also was the reason we did not started to do trade, to do, customized products and things like that before, because finance is the key thing for forming a company, capital investment, right? And we were zero, let's say zero on capital investment. So that's the key thing, biggest challenge I feel we faced that time when forming AIMS.
As the company grew, how did the expansion happen? What did you feel personally while this expansion of your company was happening and growing more and more, and you went maybe even beyond your boundaries?
Yeah, so the basic thing is, as I mentioned, service will give you access to the infrastructures. Service will only the backbone for visiting to the oil and gas locations. When you are with the customer, when you are close to the customer, you know the heartbeat of your customer. You know what is going on in their mind, right? Sitting away from the customer and facing the customer in the field and seeing their day-to-day challenges was the key point, right? So when we have this relation built, we know their problems in the field in front of them. That gave us the breakthrough to develop this specific company to this location. Till today, we are in the field. We are always on every day on the site, right? That's the story to make things happen. And customer wants solutions now. These are oil and gas. They are the companies who are running the multiple nations in providing gas, multiple mobility equipments and things like that, for providing diesels, aerofuels, and things like that. They can't afford to wait. They don't wait. They want services and solutions in front of them ready. That's the key point here for the aims, that we are with our customer at ground with them.
And looking back at 18 years ago, how do you see the industry grew together with you, and how you also had an impact on this industry in general?
So initially 18 years before, and now we are talking about era of AI, digitization, everything changes. You have a direct flight with, Airbus 380 from one location to another location. If you imagine, I still have some friends who landed with no runway in Abu Dhabi and having only a, sand runway. At that time, they used to tell us the stories, especially my previous boss. And it's a very, very big change. But I am very, very thankful, and I'm very, what can I say, appreciative of the opcos, Aramco, ADNOC, okay, Qatar Gas, PDO, and those customer, including Shell. Those people have at that time imagined what will be the necessity for the countries in terms of development. They started to bring the tools that time so that the industry will be ready to cope up for coming 30, 40 years. Whatever it calls as a new technology, it calls as a joint ventures. If these big opcos went with very big people like Shell Corporation with ADNOC, OMV Corporation with ADNOC, Shell Corporation with Aramco, right? The ExxonMobil Corporation with Aramco. Those technology transfers 18 years before was seen as a partnership for future. And the leaderships, right? The leadership of Saudi, leadership of UAE, leadership of Qatar, they had that vision. They had the vision to bring the technology partners with them to grow their countries. So 18 years before, the peak was just picking up. The technology partners were coming in. I still remember Fluor, Bechtel, Shell, all those big names at that time, Worley, coming with their technology, partnering with those opcos and bringing it. So 18 years before, it was like a kickstart for the technologies to be focused locally. Now, we are part of in-country value, we are part of development, and we are at this stage where each opcos are getting independent and bringing their own patents, own technologies. You see, Saudi Aramco have their research center, ADNOC have their research center, Qatar has their own resources for research. And this reached to that point where slowly the dependability on the external technologies are becoming in-house.
And now, after all these years, what keeps you going every day?
It's people, my people who are around me, and their trust. I see in their eyes, their families, right? They are my families. Their dependability on aims, and their children's future dependability on aims. And my only challenge is that every month there is a responsibility to be take care of multiple dependents, right? It's a passion. It's a passion to keep the company growing and keep every individual who trusts me to have the same trust with us for long term, right?
That's family.
Big family. I was one time doing a gathering for my safety, and I asked everyone how many people in each of them family. So one guy say, okay, I live with my mother, father, and I have 2 kids. So I say 6 people are dependent, and average 6 people dependent. So if you have ever 1,000 people working for you, you have 6,000 people dependent on aims and you. So it's a kind of a biggest responsibility, and that keeps you driving. The people, when we go on, like you walk with me at the back, we see in their eyes, we see the trust they have in me and my family and my company. That makes me, okay, I need to go to the office, I need to get up, I need to make this bigger and bigger and bigger.
Wonderful. You have such a huge family, 1,400 employees, and then another 5,000-6,000 of family members.
Correct.
You worked with the major national and global energy leaders such as ADNOC, Saudi Aramco, KNPC, and Qatar Energy. How did this partnership went, and how did they shape your company's direction?
They play a very major role, especially ADNOC in giving us the first breakthrough, and Aramco, and also the Qatar Gas and Qatar companies, and then came later the Omanis and the Kuwaitis, which we went a little later on that. Their contribution in trusting us. What happens is when you bring a change in an oil and gas sector, it takes time, right? Our company and my passion is innovation. I bring them always a new technology, new innovation every day. The partnership with them, only trust is on AIMS, is that AIMS is an innovative company. AIMS bring innovative solutions, right? So they take us on the board. We gave multiple demos to Aramco, to ADNOC, where we did not let them pay us unless we proved the concept. So proof of concept, providing innovative solutions to make sure their industries, their profitability, their requirement of technology growth is meeting, it made us different than other companies in this industry. And ADNOC, Aramco plays a vital role. Without them, we will not be able to reach what we are here, especially when they gave us access to their critical infrastructure and shake hand with us, stand with us, to prove our technologies and innovation to make this story success. And we follow their safety systems, safety policies, we follow their quality policy, we follow their standards, especially some standards in Aramco are very unique, some requirements they have is very unique. ADNOC being the oldest giant here in the Middle East, their procedures and the quality requirements are different. It gives our company a strength in developing using those standards and safety methodologies to grow with them. So most of the standards we follow is from them.
You're also an exclusive partner of Shell in Middle East. How did this partnership influence on your company?
You know, Shell is the world's largest company and huge. They invest a lot in, technology, research. I've been to their facilities. I was shocked to see the amount of investment they do on the people, on their, research centers, and keep, in technology as part of their, image. Shell is a huge. And we are only a small portion representing for Shell, not everything in Shell, because Shell is huge. We are working for their catalyst and technology division to provide the catalyst and the technology for refining and gas processing plants. And this is a privilege to have, right? Following the Shell standards, working with Shell is not a, easy path. We have to be in their system to be, their partner. And Shell taught us how to be completely compliant to all the work we do. Compliance is the key for Shell, and we are the key, partner of Shell. And for us, the first thing for keeping Shell relation and Shell thing is to be 100% compliant to all the quality, compliant to the working ethics of the people. We learn from them how to keep all the people happy, how to keep the, individual known to the, hazards of every job they do, what are the safety challenges we face. And Shell being a partner it's a kind of a safe approach to be the world giant, to learn from them their system, their quality, their compliance system, and technology is what we do. So our relation with Shell is, again, like I mentioned you, providing the right technology to the end user. Since we are always with the end user, since we are always present in the refineries, gas plants, we know the pain. So we are just connecting two dots. The problem changes which is happening in the refining and their new requirements of crude compatibility, and gas wells changes. They want to explore more gas, and then Shell comes in as a technology provider who has the resources, who has the technology, we connect the dots.
Once you describe that your company is shadow to your partners, what does this mean?
Basically, each opcos, we are very, 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 very minor, small company, right? Imagine ADNOC, imagine Aramco, imagine Qatar Gas, imagine PDO. They have their vision, right? And when we are with them, we are following their vision. We are following ADNOC vision of in-country value. We are following Saudi vision of Activa. We are following the Qatar vision of in-country value and technology development. We are following Oman vision of Omanization and making the Omanis compatible for technology. This vision has to be working. If we don't stand with them and follow their vision, okay, you will not succeed. So we are shadow to those companies because we want to follow their vision. We want to follow their strategies. There is 2030 emission strategies. There is different strategies for country developments and independent of CO2 and all. Those strategies are vital for the future. And now at NOC with the AI implementation, if you miss the journey, you will miss everything which is coming in future. So that's why a shadow is an example that we are just following where they go, like our shadow follow us.
And you often also say that your customers, they deserve real credit for your growth. How did they become partners? How did they become a platform for innovation and scale?
I will tell you, we have maintenance contracts. As I mentioned you, we have more than 1,000 people stationed at site, correct? How do we reach that? We reach that with the trust the customers has given us, and now they are allowing us to be in their plant. And it's not only now, but this is the repeated maintenance contracts extension and technology extension for years. So last 3 contracts for the presence on site for analyzer maintenance, for the shutdown works, like the operations support, fire and gas. These are a consistent, continuous opportunities. Recently, we are working on Aramco to provide the support for their sites. This gives the stability in our company that I'm having contracts which were there before, and the same bigger companies like Aramco, ADNOC come back to you and repeat that contract, right? So the credit is not mine. The credit is theirs. They trust in us and they grow us with them, and they trust us to follow their policies, they follow their safety procedures, follow their change in technology, and work with them. So the credit is theirs. We are just trying our best to be faithful on our task which have been assigned, and be efficient, and be safety compliance and environmental compliance.
Your company operates an intersection in technologies, innovation, sustainability. Can you please share how do you see innovation creating impact not only for businesses, but for society and the industry as a whole, especially considering your journey from the 2-people company to 1,400 employees company?
See, the first ICEX certified analyzers was brought by us in the Middle East. We brought technology of Shell, which is first time implemented in the refinery here, and some catalyst we brought first time implemented in UAE. We started to manufacture first time in water cut meter explosion proof in the country. We sold 120. We brought first laser analyzer, laser supplied by an OEM, and we made an explosion proof ICEX local analyzer in the country. We brought a special heat tracing system, bolt-on tracing system for fixing up all the problems of sulfur in the sulfur recovery unit plants. We started to manufacture our first steam traps which are coming up. So we diversify our complete organization in making innovation as our representation, right? Previously, all the organizations here are agents of some company which is extremely, old companies, and they don't just be trading, just bring the components and sell it here, right? Nobody was trying to make in-country solutions, right? That's where the innovation counts. The customers are looking for you to bring solutions which are available next door to them. They're not looking for solution available far the sea and away from your hand to capture them. So first is the trust of localization and the innovative products we are doing should be compatible and should be a long-term solution, right? So what happens when we are doing this? The customer starts to like, the customer starts to come closer to you, customer starts to give you more opportunities, customer starts to provide you trust that you continue with us because you are a good partner in terms of innovation, right? So what happened then? We take the job creation, it becomes a part of our journey, that we bring Emiratis with our organization. We bring Omanis in Oman with our organization. We have 48% Saudiization in Saudi. We have 52 Emiratis working with us. We have 60% Omanization in Oman. So this gives you job creation. It gives you, a future for young engineers who are looking for opportunities to do. They don't have to go back to Europe, US, and other countries to get that exposure. You get that exposure locally here. You also get trained on those things and create your future. You are your leader in future, right? So that's the key thing for creating job and innovation. It has to be here. It has to be in Saudi. It has to be in UAE. It has to be in Qatar. It has to be in Oman. It has to be available next to you. They have the right. The Arab world and the local people have the right to see the manufacturing technology in front of their eyes in their own home.
And you are amazing leader by doing this all. How do you define the strong leadership in a high pressure industry?
Yeah, see, every day you have a different pressure. The pressure is nowadays, because I'm a technology person, right? It's an instrumentation, process related experience, and my blood is engineering and innovation and technology. Now you end up in some kind of a pressure where is purely pressure is related to finance. You are weak in finance, so you need a good CFO. You're weak in the kind of manufacturing technologies which you have to still bring the from outside, and then you have day-to-day pressure from the opcos to meet their expectations, because since you met their expectations multiple times, their expectation has gone up. It rises every time to a different level. It's very difficult to keep up with the expectations which are there. So the pressure, especially on the CEO, is very high. I love to not to be a CEO and be on the ground person, to be a natural service person. But since you come into the office, you have a pressure from different aspects, but that build you strong. And now I have faced enough pressures. When it comes, I take it as a normal day-to-day work. So that's it.
How do safety and sustainability shape the way of your company, which operates and delivers industrial solutions?
So as I mentioned you before, right? Safety is a part of your journey. It's no compromise on the safety aspect, right? If your safety is not in your culture of your company, you go nowhere. One day you will stop. So 18 years of successful, growth is just because you are safety conscious. Your HSE policies are strong. You are following the policies which are meant to be commanding you, not you command safety, right? Safety commands you, it runs on that. And automatically when you do this type of work in terms of the safety as your first option and the business next, it makes your system already safe and sustainable. And the sustainability point of view, you do bring solutions, like we are doing CO2 capture projects. We are working on going to the world's largest field and trying to capture CO2 from them, provide a sustainable solution for our partners which will long last, machineries which will give them solutions which will produce local products which is sustainable. That's the vision and that's the future.
What measurable impact do you want to leave with your work behind for industry and for the society?
See, my take on the impact to the society will be technology and solution which will long last. Whatever we are doing at AIMS, I want the end users and customer to feel that when we brought them a solution, it stays long, right? And they remember Ames and Zaheer as a solution provider, right? It's not like just one time solution and then they have to find something else later. It's a very big challenging job because getting these solutions which long last and create your name is not easy. But we succeeded in creating some. We created some history in UAE, in Saudi, and all, where customer remembers, yes, Ames was the one who has brought this. But again, it's not only my single Ames and my journey. It's also the same partners who has taken us for that journey. It can be an opco, it can be a simple organization who trust us to work it out. So the journey is long, but some things which you want to do has to be remarkable where customer remembers you long. That's what I want customers to remember us as Ames provided us this solution.
What a remarkable journey you had, and I wish you so much success because sky is the limit for you. Seems
Thank you
like
very
you
much.
have no limits. You are beyond the limits. Thank you very much for the
Thank you very
interview.
much for your time.